So this is the point in the podcast where I always like to remind people why I curate this amazing badass list of guests for the podcast, because they're black belts in badassery. And to me, a black belt in badassery is someone who has, achieved awesome things, but also gone through their share of challenges, struggles, dramas, traumas, all the things, and now shares their story to help others rise. So I know, just from reading your story and hearing you and seeing you on the Tamron Hall show share your story, you've been through it the last few years. Can you share with everyone here what's been going on?
Sure, I can because, while it's not a plan set in stone, I have some semblance of a plan that I'm getting out. I'm moving forward. And I think as long as every day you are just trying to at least put one step in front of the other, you're in a better place than you were yesterday. Like the goal is not to complain and to woe is me and to I don't need anyone's pity. What I want is for someone to say, you did that, you got through that. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I can do something similar. But right before the pandemic hit, my mom was diagnosed with stage 3 breast and lymph node cancer. It was really bad. It was especially bad because we couldn't see her. We couldn't be with her. My dad took care of everything, and they're not young. They're in their 70s.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of this, she's very sick and she's alone and she's just with my dad. And we can't be there and help and everything. And while that was going on, my wife and I were going through a little bit of separation, and we had 2 little kids. And as soon as that was just at the tail end of her doing her last round of chemo, she tested positive for the BRCA cancer gene. So I had a 50-50 chance of getting it. And this is why I'm not a gambler, because I'm never great at these things. And of course, I tested positive for BRCA, which means the BRCA is a cancer gene mutation, which means in layman terms, my chances of getting breast cancer are substantial. So it varies depending on your family history and who you are, and they run numbers and they show you. And when I sat down with the breast surgeon at Sloan Kettering, she said, "All right, here's the deal. You basically you're walking around with a 46% chance of getting breast cancer. That is 1 in 2. It was like a 50-50 chance that I was going to get breast cancer at some point. She was almost surprised that I hadn't had it. My mom had it. I had tested positive. All the signs were there. And then obviously I also ran the risk of a very high risk of getting ovarian cancer as well. Wow. So they put these 2 options on the table, and they said, here are your options. You can check yourself every 6 months. You can go in for an MRI and whatnot we can't test to see if you have ovarian. There's no signs or symptoms for ovarian cancer, but breast cancer, we can test every month. But in between, you're going to worry and you're going to wonder, or you can go ahead and have a prophylactic double mastectomy. Wow. So the kind of cancer my mom had was so severe, it was called triple negative cancer, which meant if I was diagnosed with cancer, I would have to start chemo right away. Mm-hmm. And there was just too much on the table. But I wanted to have autonomy over my own destiny. There are so few things in life that we can, remember we talk about controlling? So this to me felt like a cheat code. Like someone's going to tell me that I have a good chance of getting cancer. I will do whatever it takes. How lucky am I that of all the medical technology we have, I happen to come across the one that is going to help me decide if there's something I can do.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So they're like, well, we'll put you in touch with the counseling and this. I said, I don't need any of that. I made my decision in this meeting. I'm going to do it.
Wow.
Well, then I said, you don't need to hem and haw. My decision is made. Let's go ahead and do it. I have been blessed by the grace of God, have not having gotten breast cancer. My mom just had it. I saw what she went through from afar.
And is your mom okay now?
My mom is okay. Thank you very much for asking.
Good.
That woman is amazing. She's just an amazing strength. So we did it. I scheduled a hysterectomy, and then I scheduled a double mastectomy within 3 weeks of each other. And
what?
It was very close, but when I want to do something, I want to do it yesterday. No matter what it is. I don't like to sit with a to-do list. I like to sit with an empty list that's just called to do. But it's been a really rough couple of years. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I had some complications after the hysterectomy and not bad complications, but messy, a couple more trips back and forth. And it culminated in like a trip to the ER in the middle of the night with a whole bunch of things it was like a stitch. It was, I'll spare all of it. But it was 2 a.m. when I finally left the hospital, and my pre-op for the next surgery was 9 a.m. the next morning. And everyone's like, well, let's figure out a time to schedule. I was like, I don't think you understand. no matter what, I'm going to be there at 9 a.m. for that pre-op. And I
Wow.
did it. And I mean, I got all the okays from the doctors. I just wanted to have this all, had that operation as well. And I had some complications with the mastectomy as well. It was a lot.
Wow.
I know everything now is wonderful and fine, but goes to the point of there is no correlation between how good of a shape you're in and how your will be, how good your body's going to heal from some trauma and how much you've prepared for. Because I wouldn't have been in better shape going into this.
Right.
The hysterectomy, it just was a fluke. There was something. The mastectomy, there was a little area where I wasn't getting enough oxygen. And so I had to go into this oxygen tank for a bunch of days. And no one's fault. It's just, that's my body. And my body was like, yes, 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 meh, yes, yes, meh. So I did a full hysterectomy. I did the bilateral mastectomy and then I had a reconstruction. So it was 3, major surgeries, a whole bunch of tricks and extra little things I had to fix and whatnot. And every time you do this, I'm out of commission. I am laid down. I am not able to move. I am not able to get my heart rate up. And that's very hard for me because that to me that's my breathing. That's so corny, but it is. I am not whole if I am not able to move and squeeze and flex and do all of it. And so that's why the whole year was just a matter of, I got the green light. I went for a walk. I went for maybe I did a bike ride. Maybe I lifted 5 pounds, then went for my next surgery and we start all over again and all over again.
Wow.
And it is hard. It is hard. Day one of anything is hard. Day one after I had the babies, getting back into the gym, I was like, man, I gained all this weight. And in my head, I was going to lose, I gained it all. And I was like, I'll lose it all in one day. No, I didn't get it all in one day. The surgery was a long time coming. You're not going to get all in one day.
Right.
The beautiful thing about day one is that it's only one day, right? Because then when day is done, day 2, and then day 3, but that's all easier than day 1.
Yeah.
So day only lasts one day. So go and do it and just put it behind you and then get ready for day 2. And there's this little breath of fresh air, this tiny little bit of light that comes with having already done the first day. And I had to just hold on to that throughout the year and hold on to this hope that I would one day get back to who I was and where I was and why I was. We talk about identity. But between my mom and the separation and the surgeries and, I'm not working and it felt very, very overwhelming. And I was still had to show up every morning for my children because I'm the strongest woman they know. And I show up every day because my friends think I'm very funny. And so I had to find it. I had to reach deep down inside to be funny. And it was just a lot on my plate.